was passing over the little tunnel through which the stream escaped to the valley below. Then came the clatter of frightened horses and the broken cry of one behind them. Felipe leapt to his feet and stood irresolute. The widow gave a little cry of fear, and Rosa came out into the sunlight. There the three stood, rigid, watching Tomaso contemplatively biting his lip in the middle of the sunlit road. In a moment the suspense was over. The worst was realized. A carriage swung round the corner at a quarter of a mile higher up the road, with two horses stretched at a frantic gallop, and the driver had no reins in his hands, for his reins had broken and the loose ends fluttered on either side. He was stooping forward with his right hand at the screw brake between his legs, and in his left hand he swung his heavy whip. He was a brave man at all events, for he kept his nerve and tried to guide the horses with his whip. There was just a bare chance that he might reach the venta, but below it, not 100 yards below it, the road turned sharply to the right, and everything failing to take that sharp turn would leap into space and the rocky bed of the river 500 feet below. The man gave a shout as he came round the corner, and to his credit it was always remembered that his gesture waved Tomaso aside. But Tomaso stood in the middle of the road, and his steady eyes suddenly blazed with a fierce excitement. His lips were apart, he was breathless, and Rosa found herself with her two hands at her throat, watching him. The carriage seemed to bear right down upon him, but he must have stepped aside, for it passed on and left the road clear. Tomaso was somewhat in the dust, in the confusion of tossing heads and flying reins. Then his white shirt appeared against the black of the horses' manes. "Name of God!" cried Felipe. "He is on top!" And Felipe Fortis forgot his fine clothes and superior manners. He was out on the road in an instant, and shouting 100 Catalonian oaths, which cannot be transcribed here, even in Catalonian. It was difficult to see what happened during these moments, which were just those instants of time in which one man does well and another badly. But Rosa and her mother saw at length that Tomaso was apparently half standing on the pole between the two horses. He was swinging and jerking from side to side, but all the while he was gathering the scattered reins in his hands. Then suddenly he threw himself back, and the horses' heads went up as if they were being strangled. They jerked and tugged in vain. Tomaso's arms were like steel. Already the pace was slackening, the gallop was broken, and a minute later the carriage was at a standstill in the ditch. Already the driver was on the ground, explaining excitedly to Tomaso how it happened, and Tomaso was smiling gravely as he wiped some blood from his hand. It was Felipe who, arriving at this moment, thought of opening the carriage door. There was a pause while Felipe looked into the carriage, and Rosa and her mother ran towards him. Rosa helped Felipe to assist an old man to alight. He was a very fat man with grey and flaxseed cheeks, with shiny black hair and a good deal of gold chain and ring about him. He seemed only half conscious of the assistance proffered to him, and walked slowly across the road to the shade of the trees.